Sure.
You ready to roll there,
So
Matt?
that's
Yeah.
the topic.
Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, and I will now call this regular school board meeting for Independent School District 544 to order. The first item of business is to establish our quorum, so I'll turn to our clerk.
Okay, Kirby Anderson.
Present.
Natalie Knutson.
Here.
Melanie Cole.
Present.
Matthew Lemke.
Here.
Missy Hermes, present. Stephen Biggessa. We have a quorum.
Very well. I am going to introduce the next agenda item by indicating we do have changes to the agenda, which could not be updated due to the internet stuff, so it was all in personnel, is that correct?
It's personnel, yep, and it'll be up on the screen. What you're seeing on the screen is correct. So we have declining of a social studies teacher and an addition of a long-term parasub, and I'll go over those two items during my segment, if that's okay?
That sounds good, so
Awesome.
I am looking for a motion to approve the agenda as it's displayed on our overhead board.
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, the agenda is approved, and we'll move right along with our board report, starting with Kirby Anderson.
Yes, nothing from finance, and the 544 Education Foundation has not met yet this month. We do meet on Thursday at noon, but I will just throw out some dates there to put on your calendars to look ahead. The in-service lunch, we will be providing, the 544 Foundation will be providing lunch for the staff on September 2nd from 12 until 1. And we have Otter Pride Night, September 24th from 5 to 7. We'll have a retired staff gathering on September 30th at the YMCA, I believe, from 10 to 11:30 in the morning. And the alumni and Hall of Fame events, distinguished alumni and Hall of Fame events will be October 8th and October 9th, with times to be determined and events to be determined. So that's just some days to keep in mind, but again, we'll be meeting on Thursday.
All right, any questions for Kirby? For my board reports, I have nothing to update the remainder of the board, and so I'll keep moving. Missy Hermes.
Policy committee has not met. The staff development committee met last week, and they had two different items on their agenda. One was an upcoming retreat that's going on. It's from Youth Frontiers, and they were discussing whether to pay for, it was going to cost a little more to invite non-certified staff, but to offer them a stipend, and so that was approved. And this Youth Frontiers Honor Retreat is a team-building experience that fosters trust, and so some of the things they'll be working on, which goes in great with the strategic planning. So setting a positive tone, increasing morale, and increasing professional collaboration. So, and then the other thing is, again, we've been talking about during the pandemic about getting teachers with the cultural competency training, get that updated, which is required for your licensure renewal, and so it looks like that's going to happen soon.
Great,
Okay.
thank you. Any questions for Missy? Continuing on, Natalie Knutson.
Neither of my committees have met, so nothing to report.
All right, thank you. Matt Lemke.
Lakes Country Service Co-op meets this Thursday, so I have nothing to report for them. The Minnesota High School League did meet on Tuesday, August 3rd. I think the probably the biggest news was just about the approximately the schools will get a credit for about $1 million because of overpayment and costs and stuff like that. So they're giving back to some school districts. And so based on that, and they're also having to earmark some reserves and stuff like that following their policy formula, they're going to reduce school activity registration fees, remember that they did increase them. Well, now they're gonna reduce them from $225 back down to $160. And then the remaining 40% will be used to reduce the Minnesota High School League enrollment fee per participant from $635 down to $460. So again, one of the things that they want to try to do, Minnesota High School League wants to do, is again, by going to a membership fee base, is one of the things, once they know the state tournaments and some of the revenue that comes in by sponsors, is that if there's additional money, they're going to, again, credit back to the members. So that's kind of a payback. So just a different way of doing it, and so this is the first year of trying it, and so that's kind of how they did it. The other thing was just that they were setting some classes for state tournaments and that, for boys and girls cross country and boys and girls soccer. Just remembering that both activities will added a third class this fall. So there's just some logistics that they were trying to work out, and they're still working on volleyball and some of that things too. So they still have some things to finish up, but and the rest of the meeting, to be honest, was just budgetary, just approving some procedural things and stuff like that. So and then their next meeting won't be until, I believe, October, but I believe they'll be meeting again sooner than later. They did not come up with any recommendations or any changes to COVID, so that I do know, or protocols or things of that nature. At least not at that meeting that was recorded.
Any discussion on that at that time?
They did. They said they would be better to get to school, which I think most schools will agree. It would be better that they gave guidance sooner than later. So they did take that into account. So I would say probably within the next week or 2 weeks, they'll have something out. Just some guidance and stuff.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Matt? And then we'll turn to Superintendent Drake for your report.
Yes, good morning. First, just an announcement that our Otter Activities Open House is this evening from 5 to 7 p.m. in the KSS Activities Hallway. So we're looking for a good turnout for that. And fall sports practices start already a week from today. So that typically, in some respects, earmarks the end of summer in a way. So we are not far away from the opening of school. Along those lines, obviously there's been a lot of examination throughout the state and country on school reopenings. At the present time, correspondence did go out to our families that our plan is to be open 5 days a week for in-person instruction. We also have followed the CDC recommendations that masks are strongly recommended, not required, and that we, of course, are advocating that those 12 and over receive their vaccination, again, in accordance with the CDC guidance. That could change. We are a full month away from the start of school year, so we'll continue to monitor the COVID-19 numbers and where that's at, and continue to rely on guidance from the CDC, Otterdale County Public Health, and the Minnesota Department of Health as we get closer and closer to our reopening. But for right now, that's where we are at as a district. This also falls in line with what I understand to be the other regional districts and their plans to reopen as well. A lot on the facility side. We just received an Otterdale Power Energy Audit that was commissioned. That was free of charge. We can go through that at length along with our facility analysis in the next 30 days or so. A lot of recommendations tied to replacing T8 fluorescent bulbs with LEDs, some variable drives that become more energy efficient so you're not running your electric motors and stuff continuously, but on a as-needed demand basis. We should have recommendations on our anhydrous ammonia chiller and district cooling system by the end of the month. One expected from ATS&R, and the other expected from Mark Rodrigo, and his engineer his name is Scott. I don't know his last name, but they should be here in August, and we'll have recommendations from them. The ALC bathroom project, the expansion project, does not look like it will be completed for the start of the school year, and this may end up being put on hold till next summer. The district did, we had been advocating for a plan and estimate since back in early spring. There were just a number of delays in getting that information, and now, as I understand it, the plan is still down at the state awaiting approval. But with the start of the school year quite near on the horizon, it does not seem likely that we could do that without possibly a major disruption to the start of the school year. So we're still waiting to hear back if the plan's been formally approved by the state. We also did receive a quote on the ALC kitchen, that possible expansion for a community kitchen. We put that on hold as well. Construction costs are just through the roof right now, and it seems like an awful lot for the nature and scope of that project. There are some grants out there that we could look to apply for to pay for a good portion of that, but for right now, I would say that project should be on hold. Then we will be entering a relationship with Johnson Controls. There's no strings attached to it, but they will also be doing a facility assessment as well and recommending some things that we could do to help lower our energy costs and improve our efficiencies. We did have an attendance meeting that was Otterdale County attendance and truancy meeting last week, with continued work to be done in this area on how to best support our students and families and improve school attendance and reduce some of the negative results that happen when students end up in the court system, etc. Long-term, that does not typically have great results, and if there are ways that we can have positive interventions on behalf of the students and families early in collaboration with our county partners, that is what we're looking for, a little change of approach there. And one final thing, with the drought that we've experienced, we do have a couple of game fields and practice fields that are not in great shape. We have worked out an agreement with the city to tap into some city water and get a sprinkler system on those fields to spruce them up before the 16th and the start of practices. So with that, I certainly am open to questions.
Does anyone have any questions for the superintendent?
All right, hearing none, we'll continue on with our general consent items. Consideration for approval, and in this motion, our minutes from our last board meeting on July 19th. And then I'll turn to you, Treasurer Kirby, for our treasurer's report.
All right. Missy and I did meet this morning. I want to thank Missy for stepping in for Natalie. And so we met this morning with Blake and went through the bills for this past month. This is the first month of the fiscal year for the school. We did have about $110,000 in bond payments that went out, and those were the 2019A bonds, mostly for KSS, so we're getting down towards the end of those bond payments. We did have $56,000 to Otter Electric on some catch-up billings, and we think that we're towards the end or at the end of those catch-up billings that we've seen in the past. This time of year we have a lot of money going out for curriculum. I think $144,000 to McGraw-Hill, primarily for language arts. There was a couple other vendors where we had similar numbers going out, and that's typical for this time of year. We had just under $60,000 went to the parking lot tennis court asphalt preservation company paving, and so those projects are completed right now. About $40,000 to EMC Insurance. That's our first payment with our new insurance vendor. We made another payment of about $70,000 to Comstock. We have just under $400,000 remaining for that project that's been billed for Lincoln School, and that will be paid off contingent on the finishing of the caulking And the rest of the punch list, I think the major item there was some of the tile in the kitchen. And then we had about $37,000 that went to the Lincoln playground equipment. And then we had some Chromebooks and some fire inspections, and that's about it. So as far as fund balance, like I say, with some of those larger payments we had this month, we were down from last month about $2.5 million. But year to year, we're about $800,000 over last year's first fiscal month of the year. So overall, things are looking good. I want to thank Blake for the work he's doing, and thank Missy for coming in early and going through these with me. Any questions?
Very good. We'll continue on, and Elaine Jenke will give us the personnel.
Good morning, everyone. As you can see, my office has been busy as usual in August, and it will continue that way here for a while. Under support staff resignations, we have Brandley Davis and Carrie Jo Brocky, both were ECFE preschool classroom aides. Erin Cole, custodian, Tammy Bauer, special ed para, and Jessica Hexum, a para educator. Under support staff retirement, we have Cindy Wasvick. She's been in food service at Adams School, and later on during our new agenda items, you'll see a resolution for Cindy. Then we have hires, support staff hires. Courtney Court, ECFE preschool classroom aide over at Lincoln. And then a number of special ed paras. We don't have basically assignments for these yet because we're doing still a lot of adjustments and additional hires. The support staff hires for special ed paras include Amanda Duno, Joellen Hopper, Lisa Paradise, Amy Lestimo, Jillian Warner, Carrie Carlson, Joy Larson, Darcy Landberg, Haley Gladback, Marie Grant, and Sarah Marcus. And just note, Sarah Marcus is part-time. She will be assigned to Lincoln School, where they just do the mornings Monday through Thursday. We also have additional hire that's not on your agenda but is up on the screen, and that's Lisa Swenson. She was hired over the weekend for a healthcare para at Cleveland. This is part-time. She works 8 to 12:30 Monday through Friday to assist with the healthcare needs of students that are at Cleveland. She'll be working work on 9 to 21. Under support staff contract changes, due to food service resignations and retirements and such, we have some switching around with staff in the food service department. Jan Grant, she's going to move to the food services, from the food services assistant server to the main server at Adams, taking Cindy Wasvick's spot. And Maya Hansen also will move from Cleveland School to McKinley School as their main server, taking Angela Erickson's spot, which last board meeting, Angela moved to Lincoln School because of the food service that's beginning at Lincoln School. Okay. Secretary custodian grade level changes. I have 2 changes here. One, district-wide student data secretary, due to job responsibility and state reporting responsibilities, changed from grade 6 to 7, along with the same situation with our district mechanical assistant, which was a reassignment of our mechanical custodian, again from grade 6 to 7. And this goes through the comparable work process in my office. And then the last item here, we have, and then on your agenda, but not on the agenda that is up on the screen, Sean Smalley, he has declined the part-time position, and due to the fact that he was hired or offered a full-time position in his home area. So he will be removed from the agenda here. And then last, the individual contract, Eric Strom, who has served as our health and safety coordinator last year, will return again in that position outside his custodian contract and provide services for us. So I would recommend all of these for board approval.
All right, very well. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion on any of the aforementioned items? Hearing none, all in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And the consent agenda is passed. We'll move to our new business, which the first item has me requesting a motion to approve our 2021, and to 2022 Fergus Falls School District goals. Would someone offer a motion to approve the goals?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on those? All right, all in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that is approved. Looking for a motion to accept the food bid of Cashwa Distributing effective August 16th this year through August 15th of next year. Would someone make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right, and a second?
Second
Okay, any discussion on that? Any review, quick review?
Well, we have been with US Foods over the last three plus years, actually. So Cashwa is formerly Food Services of America, and they have come in very competitive in regards to food or milk-related bids, so this isn't very surprising. So took the lowest bid in this situation, and it sounds like Lance is happy. He's worked with a couple of their representatives, and he's excited and ready to move on with Cashwa.
Very well.
Yeah, I think we went out for 4 bids and we got 3 back, and 1 was a little high and the other 2 were pretty competitive. And I think, yeah, so we took low bid,
Yep, very good.
so should work out.
Any other comments, questions? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right. Next for consideration is a motion for post-secondary administration agreement for the 21-22 school year with the Minnesota State Community and Technical College for post-secondary education options. Would someone make that motion?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, looking for a motion for an equipment service agreement between our school district and R&B Printing effective on August 1st this year through July 30th next year. Someone make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right, and then a second?
I'll second that.
All right, and the service agreement, then, Blake, this is different than the service agreement that came with the purchase of the items, and is that accurate?
So this service agreement is related to, actually R&B has had a long-standing relationship with the district, and they provided some personal computers for a select number of people in the district outside of our Liberty business contract that we just previously approved and got installed. And they do a great job. They're on site, the maintenance, and it's good to keep our business at least somewhat local, and I figured it was a good option to do so at the right price. But this is the first year we actually are coming to the board and having this approved. So just as, so it's in our eyes now going forward with the costs of doing business and so on and so forth, so.
All right, thank you. Good, does that commentary provoke any other discussion? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right. And looking for a motion to approve the school nutrition program joint agreement contract that we have with Lakes Country Service Cooperative at the level 4 school, which begins July 1st and goes through June 30th of next year. Anyone willing to endorse that?
So moved.
All right, and a second?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you, Kirby. Any discussion? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, very well. And I'll review for the board this resolution on the retirement of Cindy Wasvick. Whereas Cindy Wasvick began her employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in December 1993, and whereas Cindy has been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 28 years, and whereas Cindy has been a dedicated food service employee for the district, and now therefore be it resolved by the Fergus Falls School Board to thank Cindy Wasvick for her 28 years of service to the Fergus Falls Public Schools. I will offer that resolution and move for its adoption. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, clerk, will you please take roll?
Yes. Kirby Anderson?
Yes.
Natalie Knudsen?
Yes.
Melanie Cole?
Yes?
Matthew Lemke?
Yes.
Missy Hermes? Yes. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you. And our next agenda item is memorandum of understanding between our school district and Otterdale Family Services Collaborative effective July 1st through June 30th. Would someone offer a motion to approve that memorandum?
I'll offer that motion.
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion on it?
Who is our school board member that's on that?
You know, in the,
It says we have to have one.
that's correct. So I think that in the past I had been designated. I don't know
Okay.
that it's ever moved off that.
Okay.
And and there just hasn't been any meetings with the collaborative either, so. Any other discussion? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that's approved. Next item for consideration, subscription to Huddle Sports Activity, effective September 1st, 2021 through August 21st of next year. Will someone offer a motion to approve that subscription?
So moved.
All right, and then a second?
Second.
And then, Blake, are you equipped to just highlight what?
Yeah, I can highlight on what they provide. So we did the Huddle subscription last year. According to Derek, that we, pretty much a majority of our conference has moved to this online subscription. Provides video across the board for all the people within the conference, so if they're exchanging video with each other, they use the Huddle subscription. Provides stats for uploading, and then it allowed us to stream events online if we were to have to go down that road again. With the subscription, that provides all the equipment to go with it, so all the cameras and stuff that are located at each site, they have them already there, so there's no travel with it for each team or anything of that sorts. I think, from Derek's perspective, it was a very good investment last year when we made it, and there's also other things that we could do with it to possibly, raise funds with an online piece, so, I recommend it.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right. Before us next for a motion is a wage adjustment for substitute staff positions effective for the upcoming school year. Certified teacher substitutes up to $130 a day or $65 for a half day, and then support staff substitutes at $15 an hour. Would someone endorse wage adjustment motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right. And similarly, looking for a wage adjustment for non-affiliated staff to $15.50 an hour, effective for the upcoming school year. Would someone make that motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second?
Any discussion on that item? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And looking lastly on our new business for wage adjustment for the ECFE preschool classroom aides to $16.50 an hour, effective for the school year. Would someone make that motion, please?
So moved. Oh, I'll second it.
All right,
Mrs. Kim,
Missy and,
Matt?
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you.
All right, any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that is approved, and that concludes our regular business agenda. We will continue to meet this morning for a work session, and our next school board meeting will be Monday, August 23rd at 7 a.m., the last of our early morning meetings for this calendar year, right here in the community room. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, thank you. We are adjourned.